Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live with a special Wednesday edition of Ringside Reporter. And so I tell you what, we got some news today, Beeb. This is kind of interesting. Boxing could potentially be back in May if this whole thing pans out. All right. So we got word yesterday, and then kind of filtered into today that the UFC, the April 18th card with the UFC, is going to go on as planned. The Ferguson-Khabib match. Only Khabib is stuck in Russia, so it's going to be Ferguson and Justin Gaethje. All right. So it'll be those two fighting. And so we're asking ourselves, well, how can they fight? I don't understand. There's a ban everywhere in the U.S. and just about everywhere in Europe.
Big lockdown.
Big lockdown. So how is this going to happen, So apparently Dana White is going to an Indian reservation in California to get this done. All right. So he's going to go to an Indian reservation. It won't be any audience or anything like that. It'll be an empty stadium or empty arena rather. And they're going to film they're going to do the pay-per-view right there. The pay-per-view will still be $65. From what I'm understanding, it'll still be 65, however much it costs. I think it's 65 $65. All right. And they're going to hold the fights. And incidentally, their co-main just dropped out. Rose Namajunas dropped out of the co-main event. So now they got to scramble to get more fighters on the card. Didn't say why she dropped out, but just that she just dropped off of the card. So their co-main's already fallen apart. Their main event already fell apart with the Khabib. And now we got Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson. So it doesn't stop there. Beeb, as crazy as the story is, it gets better. It gets better. And I'll address all the questions here in a minute because I got a ton of them too. Dana White says that in May, so he's going to get a private island somewhere in the world, a private island. This is like that Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon stuff. You know what I mean? So he's going to get a private island, right? He's going to get a private island and stage fights there, like international fights. So the fighters can all come to the island and everything like that. And they're going to throw down on TV.
Oh, God. That's fucking great.
What?
That's great.
So let's address the first question, Beeb. All right. So how on earth is he going to do this in California? All right. And I said the first question that came to my mind was, okay, the California State Athletic Commission said specifically no combat sports. No combat sports. It's what they said. So are we to believe that they're just going to let them do this? Turns out it doesn't matter. It's on an Indian reservation. So apparently they have jurisdiction. The CASC has no jurisdiction there. None, which blows my mind because Indian reservations have to follow the same rules as we do, right? You can have crime on an Indian. If somebody commits a murder on the Indian reservation, they still call the police. It's not like they call the chief or somebody like that. He comes down and does whatever. No, they're governed by our laws. My question is, like, number one, I don't understand how the California Athletic Commission is powerless to do anything. But number two, the governor of California, in my opinion, should really step in and say, hey, listen, we got to shut it down. I don't know, I'm excited on one hand about this, and I'm real apprehensive on the other hand, man, because I mean, listen, man, I don't want to see anybody, catch this and get real sick or anything like that. I don't care who you are. Nobody wants to see anybody get sick or catch with this. And if I have to suspend entertainment for a little while longer while we get the ducks in a row, I think I'm probably okay with that. I think that's where I think that's kind of where I fall. I'm going to watch it. And I can't even give you a good reason why. I guess because I'm starved for entertainment, you know. I'm tired of putting Legos together. Listen, it's just one of those things, man. And I think it'll be real popular. But I don't know, man. Beeb, what are your thoughts on it? I was surprised that the California State Athletic Commission can't do anything about this.
Well, they can't. They can't. They can just say, I'm not going to sanction the event. And then how is the event going to be legitimate if it's not sanctioned by an athletic commission?
Apparently, this is what I thought too. Dana White said it will have an athletic commission and be sanctioned.
Ooh.
And apparently the Indian reservation has a commission.
Okay, because that's something that's I'm not used to seeing.
I had no idea.
I go to Foxwoods. I go to Mohegan Sun, and a lot of times they have to bring in commissions.
Sure.
To sanction the bouts.
How do you start a commission? I mean,
it's a government agency, Eric.
But you know, if they're under the Indian reservation, couldn't they create their own? I guess they could create their own, right?
I don't believe they can.
Because it's sovereign territory, yeah?
Well, here's the thing. And I got in an argument with someone about this before because they were uneducated about this. Indian reservations don't pay taxes, but they have to pay the state a different type of fee. Okay? But it's technically not taxes. But it's essentially very similar to taxes because they still have to pay that fee to the state to use the land, basically. It's like an amortization fee or some type of thing like that. Because but they're not paying like state, and I don't think they pay federal taxes. But they do have to pay a fee to the state, if I'm not mistaken. But it's not the same as the state taxes. So the funny thing about that is if they're not paying taxes, then how do they use the police force or the fire department if something happens and they need to call the fire department or the you know, and I'm sure that, you know, if they have restaurants on the reservation, that the city that the reservation is in is going to have, you know, it's going to be held accountable to health inspections, and they're still going to have to get building permits. So there's a lot of gray area when you deal with reservations. Now, I was under the impression that they didn't have a venue yet, but you're telling me that it's definite that they have this Indian reservation venue, or it's 100%.
Well, Dana White now will not confirm or deny that, but the California State Athletic Commission, I mean, what's his name? Lance Pugmire had said that.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Yeah.
The event doesn't happen.
Wow.
I don't think it's going to happen. And if it does happen, it'll be an exhibition. It won't be a sanctioned event. And I'm going to tell you this. At first, I said to myself when all this was going down, why not have the sporting events, but just don't have people in the stands?
Right.
But there's a problem with that, because you're going to have broadcast crews there. You're going to have commentators. You're going to have officials there. You're going to have people from the commission there. You're going to have judges. You're going to have people, the crew that puts up the cage or the ring or whatever the case may be. You're going to have a camera crew there. So when it's all said and done, it's quite conceivable that you're going to have about in between 100, 150 people there when it's all said and done. Right?
Easily.
Fair assumption, correct? The CDC I want to say about three weeks ago, put out a recommendation of social gatherings no more than 10 people. I'm going to stores now where you can't even go in the store. It's curbside takeout now. And certain places, they're only letting like 3 or 4 people in at a time. So this thing is at its apex right now. Everyone's cracking down. Okay? And California is a big city, and they're doing a lot better than expected. Why is that? Because they're doing a phenomenal job with the social distancing. Phenomenal job with the social distancing. So this guy's going to come in here and upset the apple cart. it's just a bad look. Everyone else is willing to wait, weather the storm, and let this thing play out. And he's going to Vince McMahon is the biggest capitalist this country's probably ever seen in terms of sports entertainment or entertainment in general, right?
Right.
If he can wait it out, then Dana White should be able to wait it out. This is just it's a real questionable move that just doesn't make the UFC or Dana White look good at all.
Right. No, I agree.
It's really a bad look. But if the commission is not going to sanction it, I have a feeling that it's not going to come off.
It's weird that they have no jurisdiction there. I think that's really weird. I'm going to call Lisa in here in just a second here. She's going to come in because she worked, I guess, she spent like a couple of weeks on an Indian reservation on like a trip or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the rules, Lisa, what are the rules on like an Indian reservation and stuff as far as like if they have something going on, do they call the police? They call the police, right? They don't call like the chieftain or whatever to come in.
I think there's tribal.
There's tribal police. So what about the fire department? What if somebody's a house catches on fire?
I don't know. I know when we were there, they said that if we had to go to the hospital, we would have to drive off the road.
Yeah, because they don't pay taxes. So
No, they don't pay taxes, right? Okay, you don't know. But if she said if somebody had to go to the hospital, they'd have to drive off the reservation or whatever to go to the hospital.
wow.
Gotcha. Okay, well, wait a minute. What if somebody within the tribe?
Someone in the tribe could use their hospital.
So there's hospitals on the Indian reservation.
Yeah.
Okay, so regular people can't use their hospitals. Really?
No, and like we.
That's cold-blooded, man. I mean, what if somebody really got hurt?
We were on the mission, and we didn't really leave the mission because.
But at least technically we're all like 1% Indian anyways, aren't we?
Yeah, Beef says we're all like 1% Indians, aren't we?
Elizabeth Warren is. That's how she got into Harvard.
I'm from the Slapaho tribe. You know what I'm saying? Sorry.
Yeah.
So like if they have hospitals and everything, you still have to go. If you're a regular, well, how is he going to get? He said that's the other thing. I guess he must have.
I'm not
have
sure.
squared it away with the tribe
I
or something. I don't know.
See if you can look into the thing about the commissions. I don't believe they have their own commissions.
Well, here, let's see. Let me
see if you can look into that.
Let's see here.
At least the ones that I've been to, they've always had a commission step in. Like when I've gone to boxing events, when I've gone to Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun, the Massachusetts commission would actually go down there because Connecticut doesn't have their own commission. They don't have a boxing commission, I don't think. They may have it now. Go ahead.
UFC 49, originally scheduled for Barclays Center from MMA Mania. Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, has been looking for a new home ever since the coronavirus pandemic shut down most of the country. Tachi Palace, however, which is in California, which is the place they're going to go, operates on tribal grounds and exists independent of the California State Athletic Commission.
Okay.
But it does not say anything about.
They don't have an athletic commission.
Dana White said in an interview yesterday with Brett Okamoto, said that he says they'll have their own committee. He said we've got a commission. Everything will be sanctioned. Everything will be. So that could only lead me to believe that.
No, they'll have to have a commission come in there. They'll have to get a commission from another state to come in there. Yeah, that's what happens with certain states. Certain states don't have boxing. Yeah, certain states don't have boxing commissions. Right. Yeah.
You think he's going to get like a commission from like, say, what, Alabama or something like that?
It's just a bad look though, because technically, that's the Indians own that land, and then they aren't subject to state. They don't pay taxes, so they don't have to use the commission if they don't want to. They can use any commission. When you have a fight on an Indian reservation, you can use any commission you want. That is true, but they're gonna have to get some athletic commission in there, and whoever does step in and do that, they're gonna be held. They're gonna be held under high scrutiny for doing it. It's almost like
right.
If this comes off, it's a lose-lose situation. It really is.
Smarty Jones says they don't need a commission. Well, they do if they get.
Yeah, they do.
Actually, they do.
Yeah, you
if
do.
they
need
want
a
the fights
commission.
to count. Otherwise, it's not.
You need a commission. That's
You
not.
need a commission anyway
I know
because it's not
factual.
considered a. It's not considered a.
It won't be an official
exhibition.
bout. It'll just be an exhibition. You need a commission.
You can't even consider it that because guys are trying to win. An exhibition, they're not.
Yeah.
Earthquake said, "Let's have some backyard fights like the Kimbo Slice days." Isn't this kind of what it is? I mean,
what I'm doing is I'm having what's called living room boxing.
I'm down with that. I'm
going to be holding events in my living room.
Would you mind if I participated? Almost like a fight club kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm going to have a fight club. We're going to just call people in
awesome.
Here. Going to make them take their temperature before they come into the living room.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
I'm going to see if I can call up Dr. Burks and get some of those 15-minute coronavirus tests. I'm going to,
absolutely.
What we got to do.
Oh, B, we got plenty of tests. According to the president, we got plenty of tests. Plenty of tests. And these are the best tests.
We're testing more than any other country in the world.
And let me tell you what, other countries are calling us for our tests. That's how good they are. That's how good they are. And you know what? I told 3M to screw over Canada. I don't want to hear it. Screw Canada.
No, that's not true, Smarty Jones. You need a commission. They've always had a commission. That's false.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah,
they've always had a commission.
Yeah,
you need a commission.
So there it is, man. I'll tell you what. So what do you make of this whole thing? I mean, is this
bad luck? It's a bad look.
Okay, so you remember when? All right, so remember when Mike Tyson? I think it was after the Holyfield fight, but I don't know why he was suspended. He was suspended for something else. He did all kinds of crazy stuff, right? And then the Lennox Lewis fight came together. All right, you remember that?
Yeah.
And it took place in all places, Memphis, Tennessee, because it couldn't take place in New York, couldn't take place in Vegas. They had to find somewhere who was going to sanction it, and it was Tennessee. All right, so we got to find a place that'll sanction it. But think about this, though. Like, okay, so say Alabama, or let's just say Tennessee, okay, just for the sake of argument. Let's say Tennessee says, all right, we'll sanction it just like Memphis, But their place is in lockdown. I mean, it just doesn't seem, it seems odd.
Yeah, but
that another state would take it, especially when you can't have boxing in that state.
But I don't think anybody's going to be happy about putting a large group of people in a place at one time, regardless of how bad it is, because it's just that's not smart.
Right.
It's not smart.
Yeah, it's you got to figure, even if you scale it down at best case scenario, you got the camera guys, you got the refs. Now, Dana White, it was an interesting interview yesterday with Akamoto. He said that all the fighters, everybody's going to be tested. They're going to have their temperature taken, everything like that. He said it will be the safest place in the U.S., safest place on earth to be, basically is what he was saying. I don't understand, like,
okay,
so he's going to test all these guys. Is he going to
test all the cameramen? Is he going to test the crew?
Apparently he will. That's what he's saying.
Okay.
Now, where he's getting these tests, I don't know, because we don't have any tests in Hamilton County or Butler County here.
Exactly.
I don't know.
How's he, and it takes a while for them to come back. So like
even if they do the 15-minute test, whatever. All right. But look, how do you know these people are like quarantined? You know what I'm saying? Like, just because if I test you, are you going to test me on fight day? I might not have it on fight. I might not have symptoms of it on fight day. Or you could catch it and not, you know what I'm saying? It's not right away. You carry it around for like 2 weeks or whatever. I don't know, man. It just seems like if somebody comes out of here with that virus, you'll never know about it because we're probably going to get paid. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's crazy. It's just a bad look. It's a bad look.
It doesn't seem like something that's going to. So let me ask you this: if it goes off. All right. Goes off on April 18th. I suspect it'll be a hit because everybody is starving for sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it'll definitely be a hit. Everybody likes Tony Ferguson too. Justin Gaethje is an exciting fighter. So listen, they got a good card, right? They got a good card there. But I tell you, I like I said, I mean, it is a bad look. It's the wrong thing to do, but I suspect it will be a hit. So my question is, if it is a hit, does boxing follow that shortly thereafter?
No.
Really?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
If he makes a ton of money on that pay-per-view, they don't follow that up?
No.
Why?
Mm-mm.
Why?
Boxing doesn't operate the same way MMA operates because there's a lot of moving parts with boxing. And Bob Arum has said that he doesn't feel comfortable putting on events until this thing dies down. And he's insulted. Both Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum have heavily criticized Dana White for doing what he's doing right now. And I'm looking online right now, and I still don't see an official venue.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Did you get the? I sent you that.
No, I read that, but I'm trying to find something else. You see what I'm saying?
He won't confirm it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he won't confirm the venue.
Yeah.
Because he said, because they asked him, they were like, well, they pressed him on it yesterday. They were
I
like, well,
definitely
where's it
read
going
what you
to be?
sent me. I definitely
Yeah, they
read
said,
what you
well, where's
sent
it going
me,
to be? And he says, it doesn't matter. He said, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where it's going to be because it would, you can't
Yeah,
show
the
up.
governor, the governor is totally against it. The recommendations of the Association of Ringside Physicians is against it. Okay. So let me see here.
So you're going to make a prediction to say this does not come off.
No, it's not happening. It's not going to happen.
What about if he gets a private island? Let's go that route. Let's shut down the United States here for a minute, and let's say he gets a private island.
Because it'll be taken. There doesn't need to be a commission involved to sanction it. However, I mean, so it's not sanctioned. How is it going to be an official event? But see, that's the way.
Smarty Jones just brought up a good point too. So $70 pay-per-view with so many people out of work. He's right. I mean, that's another thing to consider. I mean, if you're going to do this and just do it for free,
no one's going to buy it.
A lot of people out of work. You know what?
People are starving right now.
Yeah.
This is a lot of misinformation in this article. Really is.
Which one? The MMA Mania?
Yeah.
Why? What's misinformation about it?
Because it's on a tribal land that doesn't need to be a commission involved. That's not true. It's not true. That's false.
This is according to White. That's according to Dana White.
Where does it say? There's no quotations around this.
No, I see what you're saying. I see UFC 249 is for Barclays Center. I see that.
It says because this is what it says here. Okay, I'm reading this article. BJPenn.com. Not a huge.
Well, wait a second. You know what? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
All right, let's take it a step further. Do they need a commission?
They do.
Why?
Because it won't be a sanctioned event. It won't be official. Now,
who counts it as official though?
The sanctioning bodies.
The UFC. The UFC is the only one that counts it as official.
So the WBC,
it doesn't matter.
The WBC, the WBA, the IBF, they don't need commissions either. There's got to be different
animal.
But there's got to be someone to enforce rules and regulations at this event. There has to be.
Smarty Jones says the UFC have held events outside the U.S. acting as their own commission. I don't believe that's accurate.
Well, then name the events. Name the events. Name the events.
Can UFC act as their own commission?
It's illegal. These people want to make comments. They can't back up their statements. In order to hold an athletic event like that, you need a commission to observe it. So now anyone could load their gloves, like people could just do whatever they want. That's like a even tough man contests need commissions, believe it or not.
No, they absolutely do.
Any combat sport that is going to be held in a state needs a commission. Yeah, there is no link. Smarty Jones.
Let's see here.
You can't just hold events without sanctioning bodies.
All right, hang on here. I got the New York Times up. Let me see something here.
There's no way this goes on. He's going to get so much pushback.
Yeah, that casino closed, by the way, on March 20th because of the whole thing, because of the pandemic.
How the casino's going to be closed? So how are they going to be able to like hold an event that all the casinos that our casino in Everett's closed?
From what I understand, he had from what he was saying, and he doesn't say where it is, but he said, he's secured a place. So I imagine because they don't need people there. So what's he need? All he needs is an arena. That's all he needs.
I'm going to make a prediction. It doesn't happen. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen. And if it does happen, it's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, the Association of Ringside Physicians, which represents safety personnel in combat sports, has urged the suspension of all combat sports. Any combat sport taking place during this global pandemic places the athletes, officials, and anyone else involved in the event under unnecessary risk of infection and transmission of COVID-19.
Let's go to ESPN Plus right now. Let's see if they have. This is going to be interesting. Let's go to ESPN Plus and let's see if they're fucking.
Yeah, here it is. This is from the New York Times. By holding the event on tribal land, the UFC is not subject to California's executive order mandating that people stay at home.
Okay,
the fights on the card also do not need to be sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, which normally regulates MMA in the event state.
So who's going to regulate the fights?
The commission has canceled all fights through May 31st.
So who's going to regulate it?
Let's see here.
It's just crazy. I'm trying to see if the UFC is even going to be. Can't even open this fucking ESPN Plus app. Won't even open up. Isn't that crazy? Then go on.
See here.
Here's another thing to do. Go on your remote control and see if you can purchase UFC 249. See if it's available for purchase yet.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Do that. I don't see any advertisements for it. I don't see anyone doing anything right now.
Let me go to the Fight Pass, see if it's there. Can you get it through or ESPN? Yeah, what about ESPN here?
I'm trying to open up the ESPN Plus. It won't open up.
If I can get it here.
Schedule. Okay, here's the schedule.
Yeah, you can buy it.
It's on there?
Yep. Ferguson versus Gaethje.
So ESPN's on board with this too. Wow, I'm shocked.
$65, yeah, $65.
Yeah.
Let me go to the MMA news and see.
They just lost their co-main event because Rose is out. People are already pulling out of this. It's a fucking nightmare. Well, you know what? I'm surprised ESPN's gonna put this on there because they're gonna lose money on this.
Well, yeah, I would think so.
Their pay-per-views haven't really been doing great, anyways, from what I've been hearing. A few of them do okay, but the majority of them haven't been doing good.
I don't know.
His market strategy, because if you look at, he's oversaturated.
A lot of fights.
He's oversaturated with pay-per-views, though.
Yeah,
but a few
with pay-per-views especially.
He's doing a pay-per-view every month.
And some of those fights are not pay-per-view fights.
So
no.
You know what? Let's see what happens. In my lifetime, I have never seen an event go off without an athletic commission. In my lifetime.
It's odd, right? I mean, like you said, even
I've always been told.
I've always
been told that you need someone there to supervise the event and enforce rules.
You brought up a good point. Like, so if there is no commission,
anyone can load the gloves. Who's gonna observe I wouldn't even want to fight on that if there's not going to be a commission there, because who's going to enforce the rules? So someone doesn't even have to, someone could fucking put plaster in there. Like, who's going to observe that?
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the first UFC. Remember the very first one?
Yeah.
Where they came in.
They had bare hands.
Bare hands, groin strikes were legal.
And again, this is a backward step.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, if it comes off, though. Guaranteed, if it comes off and it does well, especially in this time, if it does well, you think they put pressure on Arum and Top Rank?
I just don't think they're going to do it, because boxing's a different animal, bro. Boxing already has a hard time putting on events unless it's marquee events. Unless you have like a Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, or you have like, I just don't think it's going to happen. Boxing's already said we're not doing Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Arum's already said it. They've already postponed their events. Joshua's not that fight. Like, Joshua's fight with Pulev is going to be in the fall, and Fury and Wilder is going to be in the fall. They're going to be in September. Think about it. What is it now? It's what? April, so May, June, July, August, September. So it's about 5 months away. You know, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
done.
I mean,
boxing's going to be done. I don't think you'll see boxing back up and running again until September. Just my opinion.
Soonest. At the
this
soonest.
is my opinion.
That's at the very soonest.
Listen,
they even said in California, I guess there was a guy, I guess NFL, somebody from the NFL in California said, we're not starting football season on time in California. And the other thing we got to remember is that, like, people are, I've heard it all day. People are talking about flattening the curve and this and that about this coronavirus. The thing is, you guys got to think about it, man. Like, this was done to give the hospitals a break so it didn't happen all at once. This was done to, like, kind of stagger things. So once they get rid of the social, it's still gonna keep going.
Yeah. Read this comment. Beeb, the UFC event in Brazil recently made their fighters get their hands wrapped before they even went to the arena. I mean,
that's weird, man. I mean, that's odd.
I'm not gonna say that's not true, because I don't know.
Yeah.
But all I can tell you that ain't gonna be allowed in the United States. You can't wrap your hands and you can't wrap your hands in the hotel room and then go to, no, come on.
Well, and incidentally, what I just read is that the UFC, the event in Brazil, I think it was 248. They've now turned into a makeshift hospital, that arena. So yeah, it's nuts, man.
You know what, Eric? The UFC is kind of an island unto itself. They don't have they don't have a ranking system. Okay. You got one guy running everything.
Yeah. Well, you think about it, like what you said earlier. You were like, well, they need a commission to calculate the wins and losses. Why? I mean, because the UFC.
Remember, for the longest time, he tried to get into New York. And he was not allowed to fight New York. Why?
The Culinary Union.
Because New York would not sanction. Remember, he said this? We can't get sanctioned in New York.
He said because of the Culinary Union.
I heard him say he could get sanctioned in New York.
They were sanctioned in every other state.
But he couldn't get sanctioned in New York.
Which made no sense.
So if he didn't need a commission, then why couldn't he just fight New York?
Right. No, I get you. I get you. But what I'm saying is, with this, so you take a look at this and you say, well, wins and losses, and to make sure that things go off. Right. He doesn't.
Well, then again,
they're the only one
to your point.
Track. It's not like
To your point, they're their own record keepers over there. So you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. I stand corrected. I retract that.
No, you know how, like you and I, we can go to BoxRec. Yeah.
When you want to find like. That's the thing. They're an island unto themselves. And,
And I think it's a good thing, but I think in this case it may be.
But here's the thing. Now they're fighting without a. Now they're basically fighting without a net. There's no safety net. If you don't have a commission there, What's going to happen if a fighter needs medical care? Okay, how's that going to be handled? Who's going to deal with fucking a medical emergency? Who's going to make sure everything gets done right? Who's going to make sure the gloves are on right? Who's going to make sure that everything is on the up and up?
Well, because they asked him, Akamoto, this is what throws me, and this is what we don't know about it. Because he says, yeah, there'll be a commission there. He said there'll be a commission.
Okay.
Huh?
I can't speak on it. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I haven't really dug deep into this, because in my mind, if it does happen, it's going to be a joke. It's going to be a joke, because think about this. You've spent, when I say you, I mean Dana White.
Yeah.
You've spent years fighting tooth and nail, trying to make this sport credible, like boxing. For years you've been fighting. You know, you've been ridiculed, human cockfighting or whatever.
Yeah.
So what did you do? As time went on, you kept adding rules, you kept adding structure, you tried to bring dignity and a sense of organization to the sport, right? You spent years trying to build that. Commissions, rules, rounds. Remember before they used to just do one big round and shit? They used to have no gloves.
10 minutes or 20
you could
minutes.
Headbutt, you could do this. So now you made the sport
a sport.
A sport. You regulated it, and you put rules in place, and you had commissions, and you tried to get licensed in every state. So now all that hard work you've done, you're basically slapping the California State Athletic Commission in the face, which is I'm not a big fan of the California. I'm not a big fan of the California State Athletic Commission, but again, that's the largest state in the union, and they have big arenas there. And you mean to tell me that you're never going to want to go back to California again? And
Staples Center.
Yeah. Okay. So you're already burning a bridge there. Nevada's not too far away. Nevada looks at stuff like this. They're going to hold you under a negative light now. Okay. You're going to be held in a negative light with Nevada. So all that hard work you did to legitimize your sport, for one night, you're turning your sport into a circus, and you're going to lose all of that. And as the person made a great point in the chat, people are starving right now. Okay, people are waiting for those friggin' stimulus checks. Those small businesses. Here's another thing: all the bars that used to buy those UFC events, they're not gonna buy it. They can't. So what are you trying to prove here? This is a lose-lose situation. Am I right? Am I missing anything here?
You know what? And the other
Am I missing anything here? Tell me.
I don't think so. Think so. And the other thing here too, since I didn't even, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't even think about that.
Right.
Until that came across the chat.
Right.
I really didn't even think about that.
Right.
But he's still charging $65 for it. It's not like it's free or not.
I'm gonna buy it because I'm a loser. Look at me. I'm in a hovel right now. I'm a loser.
I'm wrestling with my conscience. I'm like, why are you going to do this? And I'm going to do it. I know I am, because I always win. My conscience always comes in second. It's like, I will pay the $65 to watch this fight. I understand that. But you and I are like, we're hardcore guys. This is what we do,
There's one thing I am going to try to do, though, because I'm a loser, but because I break down and I buy everything because I'm a friggin' degenerate.
I am.
There is one thing I'm going to do right now. I am going to make a stand on one thing.
Cancel your subscription to Brazzers, or
no? I'm gonna boycott China. I'm gonna try and boycott China products.
How are you gonna do that? Honestly, how are you gonna do that?
I'm gonna try very
stop
hard.
Eating bats. Really? Like, how are you gonna?
How? And this is nothing. This is nothing against.
It's from China.
Let me see where this hat's from. Where's this hat from? Where's this hat? Oh no, this hat was made in Bangladesh. So I'm lucky.
By somebody making like 2 cents an hour.
This phone was made in South Korea. Okay?
That phone was made in China, son.
South Korea.
That iPhone was made in China. It is what it is.
HP laptop, America. And this is nothing against the Chinese people, because Beeb loves Chinese women. Oh, I love them. But this is nothing against the Chinese. I'm sorry, everyone out there. This is nothing against the Chinese people. I'm just very disappointed in the Chinese government. Very upset.
Why are you upset with the Chinese government? Are you upset with our government?
Honestly?
Yes.
Very minimally.
Really?
Very minimally.
All the lies and everything like that, the fact they knew about it way beforehand?
Our government knew about it way beforehand?
Yeah, they knew about it way beforehand. He was briefed in
I'm
November.
going to explain to you my opinion on this.
Sure.
Knowing about it is one thing. Knowing the severity of it is another. We were told all the way up to January 24th, because of what China told the WHO went to China and observed everything, and they came back, and they still have the tweet out there that was tweeted, I believe, on January 14th.
I remember that, yeah.
This cannot be transmitted from person to person.
According to the Chinese. Yeah, you're right.
And the
Chinese definitely had a lot to do with it.
And the WHO confirmed it. Here's another fun fact for you. Do you know how much money the United States gave to the WHO last year?
Like 400-some million, wasn't it?
Like 500.
That's what he said in that press conference.
500 million,
crazy.
Right? 450, 500. China gave 40 million. Okay?
Yeah, 40 million.
So everyone's saying we knew about it. Yeah, knowing about it is what even Dr. Birx said. The way this was presented to us from China and the World Health Organization was this was another SARS. Okay?
Yeah.
This was another SARS. We were the first country to put a travel ban on China when everyone else was still going back and forth. I know people are going, oh, Beeb, you're defending Trump, but I got to give him credit. That was a good move, because when you're infected in a certain area, what do? You attack that one area so it doesn't spread to the rest of your body. The most important thing that could have been done, I think we should all be in agreement here. We don't have to be, but if we're objective, I think we would have to agree. The best thing that could have been done was to stop Chinese people from coming in and stop us from going out to China. That was the best move that could have been done. Okay? We can argue when the social distancing could it have started 2 weeks early. That's fine. But the president all along was listening to Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx and the rest of the medical advisors. And Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx and the rest of those advisors were acting on data and information that they were getting from the WHO, who was getting the information from China. So the reason why everyone was saying this is another flu, because that's what the data presented to us suggested. And it was false data. It was wrong data. So if we're going to be misrepresented in terms of receiving data, then we only have to act on what we were given. The WHO did not declare this a national pandemic, a global pandemic, a global threat until February 3rd. February 3rd. So who dropped the ball here? You could yell at Trump for the stupid things he says at the press conferences and all the idiocy and all the dumb shit. But at the end of the day, this whole friggin' 30 days to slow the spread, he didn't come up with that. These medical people came up. All these practices that have been put into place here are from the CDC, and they're from Dr. Fauci, and they're from Dr. Birx.
Did you know that most major airlines had already suspended flights to China prior to the announcement on January 31st?
Most who? Most countries?
Most major airlines had already suspended it.
In the United States?
Yes.
Was that due to their own?
Yes, before he enacted this.
That's good. But I'll tell
What
you
I'm
this.
saying is,
What
he
I'm
talks
telling
a
you,
lot.
what
He
I'm
doesn't
telling
tell-
you,
but he
what
doesn't
I'm-
speak in facts, though.
whether I don't know if that's true or not, but I'll take your word for it. But let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Did Italy do that? Did Europe do that?
That I
No.
couldn't tell you. I will tell you,
They
I know we
didn't.
were 10 days behind Italy, and they said it was going to be worse than Italy, and of course it is.
But is it really worse than Italy?
Yeah,
More people have died in Italy than died here.
give it a few days.
You know
What
I'm
are the
saying?
numbers? Yeah, what are the numbers? Let me look up the numbers today. I use Worldometers, Worldometer, Worldometers.info.
Nancy Pelosi and Mayor Bill de Blasio were saying like nobody really knew how bad this was going to be.
Yeah, let me tell you
Nobody
this. Let me tell you this. And we are 10 days behind Italy, according
Yeah.
to that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so total deaths in the United States as of right now, 14,668. Jesus Christ. In Italy, 17,669. And
Yeah.
keep in mind, they're 10 days ahead of us.
Okay.
1,827 people passed today from this.
Yeah.
We've got 26,766 new cases. Yesterday, 1,970 people passed away from this in the United States. 1,827 already. We're going to pass the 2,000 mark before the day's out. This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is crazy. You know what's funny? Not funny, but just kind of funny, ironic. So those memes going out, those memes that it said, and it referenced Worldometer on there. It says that X amount of people died from the flu between January 1st and April 1st. Okay. And it was, the number was, it was up there, way further than coronavirus. And then, this is a world number. And then this time on April 1st, from April 1st, I think it was like 40,000 people had died from corona. From April 1st to April 8th, it's now 80,000. In 1 week, it doubled.
But here's the thing
It's crazy to me.
But here's the thing I have to say to you. You're comparing this virus to the flu, right? Oh, you're not doing it, but
I'm not doing it, but people
you're
are
not
doing
really
it, yeah.
comparing it, but you're just making
Right.
you're making a comparative analysis.
Yes,
You're making
because
a comparative analysis.
Right, because people say, well, hey, more people are dying from the flu. How come we're not treating the flu like this?
But you have to understand one thing. We have vaccines for the flu, and we have proven therapeutics for the flu. And
Yes.
people still die from the flu in pretty significant numbers.
Sure.
I'm just gonna be devil's advocate here, and I'm gonna be maybe an asshole to some. But we're sitting here every day counting this thing.
It's
Right?
crazy, right?
We're counting it like really, really intensely. Everyone's counting this thing, right?
Right.
Let's take something else and count it like we're counting this. You'd be surprised how large those numbers would be too. Now,
cancer and everything like that.
I'm not making light of it. I'm not
No.
making light of it.
Of course not.
Don't take it the wrong way. But you have to ask yourself. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll let you
Okay.
get
Well,
it.
I will tell you this. I
I'll let
will
you
tell
get
you
it.
this. The way it was explained to me, and Lisa, Lisa's into math. She's a math teacher and everything like
Sure.
that. She said it's exponential, which means it'll double and then it'll double again and then it'll double again and double again. You know how what is the one? I don't know if you've ever heard it or not, but if you take a penny and double it every day, you'll be like a millionaire by the end of the month.
Okay.
But by like but it takes, you got 2 cents and you got 4 cents and then you got 8 cents, 16, and it just pretty soon it just compounds like that, and that's kind of what this is like. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. It's a little bit crazy,
Now they're saying the numbers are going to be in like 80,000 deaths.
It's still a lot. I always thought it was overshot. I mean, they were talking about, we had a doctor in Ohio, Dr. Acton, who said that she works with Mike DeWine or whatever, and they were taught the governor here, And they were talking about it. She says, that at the height of this, we're going to see 10,000 people infected every day. And I said, there's no way. Those numbers are too high.
Is this a fair point to make? How many people are dying with the coronavirus as opposed to dying from it? You know what I mean by that statement?
I do, but it's like saying how many people die from AIDS versus die from something else, complications of cancer in the same way.
Like, what if someone goes into because Germany was making this point because they were critiquing the way Italy was counting a lot of their deaths, and like they were saying that the people died from other medical issues, but they had the coronavirus as well. And the death just went down as a coronavirus.
Certainly can't help situation.
No. So, are people dying from the coronavirus or are they dying with it? It's a fair question to ask.
It is a fair question. But at the end of the day, I mean, does it really matter? If they had the coronavirus or they had symptoms of the coronavirus,
well, let me ask
pass
you
away,
this.
I mean, does it matter?
If I die from congestive heart failure, or if I die from friggin' cancer, and I have the coronavirus in my system, did the coronavirus make me die from cancer? I mean, I don't know. Or if I die from a renal failure,
yes,
and I had the coronavirus, can you correlate that? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it's a fair point.
I think it's a fair point too.
I think it's a fair point.
But I think it's almost like again, I mean, very few people maybe die from cancer. They'll die from complications of. Same thing with HIV. Very few people die of AIDS. I think they probably die from complications of, because it just
when people die from Alzheimer's, what happens is their respiratory system just their brain doesn't know how to continue to make their respiratory system work, and there's a disconnect there, and then they just stop breathing one day.
Yeah.
When my mother died, it was the most horrible thing in the world. She was just like, I was there. It's like she just like stopped breathing. It's like boom. It was like a fucking switch went off.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was painful, that's the great thing. But it's just
right.
Weird. At the end of the day, the majority of the deaths in the world are from respiratory failure of some sort, congestive heart failure, heart disease, congestive. So we all. At the end of the day, the majority of us are going to die from a respiratory condition. Technically.
Well, and then, but is this uncommon in the medical field though? Because a lot of people unless you do an autopsy on everybody, you're not going to know what they died of.
No.
You're going to have a speculation. You're going to have a hunch.
Yeah.
And that could be right where we're going. You know what I mean? That's my best guess on it. But that's like I said, that's what I say is like, unless they do an autopsy on each and every person, you're not going to get accurate.
Can I tell you something else? I think, honestly, and this is just speculation. If we tested the whole country, would it be safe to say that we may even have 1 million people positive in this country?
I think easily.
We
got 400,000 and we can't even get tests.
If we tested, we may even have 2 million people positive in this country.
At least. How many
you
people?
You and I could have had it and fucking fought it off. We're alpha males.
Well, we're genetic freaks. I mean, there's a big difference. I mean, what are you going to do? Let's face it, Beav. If it was in a bottle, everybody be drinking it.
I mean, we
question.
We may get a sniffle here and there, but I mean,
I don't even know about that. If they tested we're at what 480 now in the U.S. or 435 or some crazy number like that. Yeah. And what are they telling you to do in Massachusetts? Because in Ohio, if you got this or you suspect you have it, you don't do anything. You stay at home.
No.
You just stay at home. You don't even get a test, son. I heard they're not even testing you unless you get to a hospital and are admitted.
I've been walking like 8 miles every day because I'm going crazy, right?
Right.
My biggest fear right now is when I look at the fucking weather and it's gonna rain out tomorrow. Oh fuck, I can't go, I can't walk. You know what I mean? Because it's the only thing that's keeping me sane right now. That and doing these videos.
Are you wearing a mask outside?
Not really, no.
I'm not wearing a mask outside.
I haven't broke down. I haven't got to that yet.
I can't, man.
When it's real cold out, I put my ski mask on. But I do that because my face is cold.
Right.
I hate when my face is cold. I don't like when it's like when it gets down to like below like in the 30s. I put my ninja mask on.
Your ninja mask. I was gonna get one of those balaclavas if I have to wear one.
Canellis says, where do you get masks?
Good luck, son.
Unless you work for FEMA, you're not getting a mask, brother.
I guess you can make your own. Lisa was talking about making her own.
Yeah, you can make your own.
You can sew them out or something like that.
Give me $3, I'll make you one. No, I'll make you one. I'll make you one.
$3. Give me $10.
I'll make you one for free.
Yeah,
this is trying times right now.
Paper. Out of paper, just fold it up.
But I am. Look at MB.
MB.
MB's hilarious. I go.
The thing is, they're scared to look at the reality of the situation. Like this could actually happen.
But the girl, that video I sent to you with that Asian girl, she made a good fucking argument on a lot of points.
What was this now? I can't remember.
Remember the one I sent you with the Asian girl?
Yes.
She did a good job making some good counter arguments. I gotta say that, guys. The one thing we have to really, again, like no one's telling you to love Trump. You don't have to love Trump, but like, I think we still should try to be objective in our analysis on how things went down, man.
I agree.
I really think we should be objective.
I don't think we should listen to what he says, though. I'll be honest.
One thing I do hate that he does is when he says, "I'm not calling governors. Oh, it's the states." Technically, it is the state's responsibility to do a lot of things. It really is, because that's the way our government works. But that's not you. You don't want to sit there and say, "Well, it's not my fault that the states should have did it." No, just say, "Okay, well, the states can do this, and if they need our help, we'll supplement whatever they can't do." Right. I wish I could just be there and fucking, like when Jim Acosta said to him, "Do you think it's wise? Do you think it's wise to give the American people a false sense of hope?" If I'm asked that question, you know what I would say? Jim, there's nothing false about the hope that I have for the American people. I love the American people. And if I could give them even a little glimmer of hope, I'm going to do it. So there's nothing false or fraudulent about that, Jim. How's that? I'd get a standing ovation at that fucking podium.
I think, and then I would say that, Jim, you'll never make it in this line of work.
You got to admit, did you not crack up when he said that?
I was laughing so hard. And it is, you know what? And even
I almost ruptured my spleen when he said that.
And I think you and I kind of fall on two sides of the fence when it comes to Trump. Those press conferences, I wait every day. I got to be in front of that TV. I see what he says.
I love.
He's like Howard Stern. You want to see what he says next.
and then he gets before he calls on Jim Acosta, he goes, "No, here we go. Let it come. Let it out. Let's go. Let's go.
Here we go."
He's hilarious.
We're gonna win this war. This is a great time for me. Easter.
But we talked about it earlier, right? Imagine, like, if you're a reporter, that's your dream to be able to sit in that press row in the green room there, or whatever. What's it called? The green room in the White House, whatever that room's called in the White House. That's a reporter's dream. And then when you get there, you ask them a question like, "Well, so-and-so's mad at you. What do you have to say about that?" Like, is that the fucking extent of the question you have? What is that? What is that going to provide for me, the viewer? What am I going to get out of that? What am I going to learn from that question? You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the questions that are being asked, and they're being asked over and over and over again. It's lazy fucking journalism, bro.
A lot of it's lazy. But I was watching Fox today because I know they'll start it on time, and they started it, and then they just cut out. They just left him. I'm like right in the middle of it. They just like voted, man. They
I
was
love
like,
when
all right, well, your
Pence.
next show is coming up next. I was like, what? So I had to turn it to MSNBC. I'm like, all right, they're showing it. I'm like, why would they just cut out on him like that?
You know what's so funny? MSNBC and CNN, they always say, "Oh, we're not going to show it. We're not going to show him. Fuck him. He's a blowhard. He's a liar. Oh, it's just a it's like a rally. It's just a rally." And guess what happened? Guess what happened? Their ratings started tanking, and they started seeing Foxes going up. And what happens? Then they start showing it. Okay, because they'll do anything for ratings.
Oh,
They'll
for
fucking
sure.
they'll broadcast mud wrestling if they had to, if they knew it would get them ratings.
I'd watch it. That's the thing, man. Like that's why you can't trust a word any of those networks say. You have to kind of do your own gathering and stuff like that.
And again, Trump's got his faults. He really does. But I just don't think he's as bad as everyone says. I just don't think he's as bad as everyone says he is. He's arrogant. Okay. He gets baited into arguments and he takes the bait every time. He's totally unprofessional. No question about that. And he rambles. But in terms of, the policies, like not all the policies suck. Some of them do, some of them don't. Like he's just not like, he's like anyone else except for the way his messaging is horrible. Horrible. Like Obama, one thing about Obama, whether you loved him or hated him, he was an incredible messenger. The way he could talk to people and just get them to at least listen. This guy has a way sometimes of isolating people and ostracizing people. But it is what it is. Fucking Bernie's gone again, huh? Bernie?
Yeah, Bernie's out, man. I was
Listen,
like, oh,
Joe
man.
Biden.
I like Bernie.
Joe Biden. Am I wrong in saying this? He's got some cognitive issues going on right now.
He's got something going on right now. Oh no, man.
He's getting worse and worse.
He's getting worked in those debates, son. Wait till those debates.
Can he win the election? There's no way he can win, right?
The people that are fed up with Trump on the Republican side would do him versus Sanders. They wouldn't vote for Sanders at all, but they would vote for Biden.
Because he's establishment. He's an establishment candidate.
You know who should have ran is Cuomo. Cuomo should have ran. Yeah. They should put him in there. He would get it. He would beat Trump right now. I really believe that.
I like Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
She probably didn't have the experience to do it. You know who was the worst of that field? Cory Booker. Oh
yeah, I didn't like him. He's from the hood, and
he is such a phony.
He is. It really is.
I love when Mike Pence gets up there and he goes, and the way he talks, like you look at the faces he makes, like, I just want to really thank the American people. Like he's so passionate, like he's just so compassionate, and
he's another odd duck. Man.
Then then he'll be like in the back, and someone else will be talking, and he'll be like shaking his head.
He's such a yes man. So check this out. So Mike Pence was the governor of Indiana.
Yeah.
I knew a girl that I worked with, okay, moved out of Indiana because Mike Pence was the governor there. And I was like, you moved out of Indiana. This was before he got elected. All right. This is before he got on the ticket with Trump and got elected. I said, you moved out of Indiana for the governor? She was like, yep, I couldn't stand him. Next thing I know, he's vice president of the U.S.
You know, it's crazy. A lot of people did not like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just did not like him.
No. So let me ask you a question. Did you see the Tiger King yet?
No, I got to watch it tonight. I'll watch it tonight.
What are you doing? What are you doing with your life over there? Did you finish the OJ thing?
You know what I'm watching now? I'm actually watching the real trial.
You're watching a real? Where are you watching a real trial?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, okay, okay.
Can I tell you something?
Did you see the part where Marcia Clark broke it down in the People versus OJ?
The real
go watch.
The real Marcia Clark you're talking about?
Oh, the fake Marcia Clark.
When she broke
the actor.
I've seen that before, but I'm gonna have to go back and watch the part you're talking about because it's not fresh in my mind. I'll be honest with you.
Had it Furman planted evidence, right?
Hmm.
So the theory is Furman planted evidence, not knowing if OJ's in town or out of town.
Hmm.
Just wanted to tie him to it. That don't make no sense.
Yeah.
Made no sense.
But again, the defense is like Tyson Fury, and the prosecutors like the prosecutors like Deontay Wilder.
Those guys.
In other words, the prosecution has to be perfect. The defense doesn't. Defense doesn't have to be perfect.
They were perfect though. I'll tell you what, man, they really were.
When you go back, right, and you who's a friggin', oh my God, this guy's like he's just like a terror interrogator, F. Lee Bailey. Yeah. Watch him friggin' the way he just broke. He was hilarious too. Oh, he was hilarious. Like he was just like throwing like snide remarks every he'd ask Furman a question and Furman would answer it, and he like throwing a snide remark. Like Furman said something like he gave Furman like a book and he asked him, so can you tell me what happened to blah blah blah? He goes, well, it's in this book. You want me to read it? You want to read it from this book? He goes, well, yeah, it's the only way you're going to be able to answer the question, right? It's just fucking like he's just like fucking just like kept throwing digs at him the whole cross examination. It was just hilarious.
It's crazy.
I was laughing my friggin' ass off, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm watching the real trial now.
Box Talk 88 says Carol Baskin never fed her husband to the cat. Yes, he did. She did, man. If you don't think she's guilty, man, there's something wrong with you. She definitely fed him to the cat.
Who's in the UK? We got people from the UK and from Ireland in there?
Yeah. How about that?
Wow. Why don't you guys try to tell your UK friends to subscribe to this channel?
Yeah. What are you guys doing over there?
What are you doing over there?
What, are you just holding it for yourself? You just find something good and then just like, oh, well, I'm just going to keep it for myself.
Spread the word, man.
Yeah, what about that? Yeah.
Fuck.
Come on. It goes for all you guys, too. I got to be honest, man. You guys need to
start spreading the word, man.
Start spreading the word.
Start telling people. You got to start telling people about this channel.
Every chimp knows a champ, son.
Look at the content you're getting on here. You're getting friggin' you talk about entertainment. We talk about politics.
Sports,
talk about porn. Talk about everything, man.
Everything you want to know about, we're talking over here.
This is like what we're doing. This is like real water cooler barbershop conversation talk.
That's right. That's right.
That's what this is.
They don't talk like this when you go to Bo Ricks or Haircuts or whatever the places are.
Speaking about haircuts, man, right. Like, how are you getting by with your hair, man? Can Lisa give you a trim up?
Nah, we got. I just found out like I said, man. When I moved in here, man, one of my neighbors is like, she's like a hairstylist or whatever. I don't want to say like a barber.
She's
like
cutting your hair?
Not yet. I might ask her though.
Look at this friggin' thing, man. This is crazy. Look at this.
You got to comb it like up and back, like those pompadours. Like
man.
Up and back.
Who's that? It'd be like Johnny Bravo, man. It's like this.
Johnny Bravo.
Like a mess. Oh God.
That's funny,
God.
man.
I got a friggin' chia pet growing on my neck.
Yeah, can you imagine how long the barbershop lines are going to be now?
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
A couple of weeks before you get in there.
It's gonna be crazy. I was thinking of that the other day too, man. I was thinking that the other day. I had to find another laundry service because the one across the street from me that does my laundry for me, I have like this wash and fold place. I pay them like $17 and they do like a load of laundry, like do like 10 days worth of laundry for me.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, they closed up, so I had to go down the street. There's another place I found. Crazy.
That's crazy. You don't go to a laundromat, huh?
No.
Don't you have a washer dryer hookup at your place?
I do. I just don't like
get a washer and dryer.
I do. I have a washer dryer here. I just don't like washing clothes. I'm so lazy.
What are you doing? So
I
you,
remember
you
I was
go and pay somebody to do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys having food delivered and stuff like that? You guys
Sometimes.
get you guys get food delivered?
Well, think about it. Like now, like those places like Fresh and Amazon Fresh and Instacart,
Yeah.
they're not delivering really. So you try to put in an order, and they're not available.
That's what my dad did. That's what my dad did. He went to that Amazon Fresh or whatever, and they couldn't even give him a timeline on when they're going to pick it up.
We can't even freaking They won't even like we'll let you know when someone's available. I've been going to the grocery store like once every 2 weeks. Once every 10 days. I still buy the MegaFit meals and stuff, but I still buy other shit too from the store. I do get a lot of like snacks shipped from Amazon though, like, some of my snacks, like some of my protein cookies and like protein chips and stuff like that. And
You know what's really
sometimes,
good? You know what's
yeah.
really good from Amazon? It's called Bada Bean. Go look it
Oh
up.
yeah.
Those bags have like 7 grams of protein or something like that in them.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm
they're
gonna
like
try those. Are those
400
good?
It's awesome. Oh my God, they're really, really
Really?
good. Yes.
I'm gonna try those.
You got to check them out, man. They're really good.
Wow.
Yeah, they are very good. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Stay tuned this Sunday. We got some fantasy fights coming up for you. I don't know who's fighting. I don't know. We'll put 2 fights together. Look, I don't know. We'll be like Dana White. We're gonna get our own private island, make 2 guys duke it out to the death. You know what I'm saying? That's how we're doing it over here now.
Yeah.
That's it. All right, guys. Until Sunday, 7 p.m. We'll see you then.